Basketball fans, welcome back. So in this video, we'll be looking at an interview where the Assistant Secretary General Angela Luchivia, she was there in Citizen in the morning, and she was just giving her sermonette on the state of Kenyan basketball. And we'll have a deep dive into this interview. But before we get into this interview, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you can get notified. And without further ado, let's just get into it. So for the past few weeks, there has been a lot of things going on, especially with the Kenya Basketball Federation. You had them being taken to court over the unprocedural AGM that they had, and also other corruption scandals that they had that were covered, especially on my feed on Instagram. I just made sure to give you guys an update on that as well. And there was also the period where KBF operations were stopped with an injunction order. The injunction order got lifted like about a week, and basketball resumed. Even before the injunction, like the league was supposed to kick off 25th February, but there were so many things that were going around, especially with the integrity of the federation. They were being put to question. So majority of the time, you might have seen a situation where there was a standoff between the federation, the players, the fans. They were not having it. So this interview was supposed to shed some light onto that, and also just to give an update on the NBA signing a deal, a memorandum of understanding with the Kenya Basketball Federation. I know they wrote it as Kenya, but if you look at it closely, the governing body of basketball is the Kenya Basketball Federation. So let's just get into it real quick. I'll just be dropping some nuggets of wisdom as we go through it.
Of course, the last few years, basically, you've raised concerns about the quality of basketball in the country. Morans continue to shine, but how about the local Premier League? And today, I'm joined by a guest in studio who is going to help break this down for us. So welcome sana katika studio yetu leo hii ili tuweze kupata mjadala. Madam Angela Luchira, who is the Kenya Basketball Federation Assistant Secretary General. Madam, karibu sana.
Thank you very much, and I'm really glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Let's just start from there. What's the state of basketball in the country?
So when she got asked this question about what the state of basketball is for the country, you will have thought that she was supposed to answer it like very straightforward, direct, straight to the point. But before that, you saw like the way the reporter just asked that question. It's just to get some clarity on what people have been asking. There are a lot of things that have happened. The injunction notice, the unprocedural AGM, all the corruption allegations, the nullification of the league last year. Nobody from the federation came out to address those issues head on. And this reporter from Citizen, he did a very good job in asking that. So let's just see how she answers it.
I think for me, the state of basketball in the country is growing. Obviously, with growth comes a lot of hitches. There's a lot of hitches here and there. I'm not saying we are perfect. It's a journey, and being in a journey, there's always progression. And so what I would like to say is, first of all, I just want to talk about some of the achievements that we've had as a country in basketball. When you look at it from the 3x3, the international scene, first of all, I would just like to say, Kenya is going for the World Cup. Nothing that, something that people are not talking about right now, but something that is very critical. And I mean, we're really proud to be one of the few teams that have been able to make it to the World Cup. So our under-23 team is going to the World Cup. When you look at it in terms of globally, we are number 16. In Africa, we are number 2, something that people don't talk about, but it's because of the hard work that's been going through the process as we've been doing all of the work behind the scenes. Looking at 3x3 also, we are...
So you saw she just immediately just to try to brush it away, because she knows that this will expose the federation and how incompetent they are. So she doesn't want to expose the federation like that, because of course they have to stick to their virtue. They have an image they're trying to protect. Whatever image that they have left, they're trying to protect it vehemently. So what she did here was she tried to deflect that question, and she quickly rushed into like the achievements that the federation has had, so that she can be able to save face, and deflected from the real issues. The real issue that she needed to address here was the AGM issue, the injunction notice, the endless corruption cycle that has been plaguing the Kenya Basketball Federation, what is really going on with like the team managers, the rogue team managers who are disrupting the sport, and she has been there presiding in all of that. And also the Poland 3x3, the way the Ministry of Sports, they didn't even hesitate in writing that they didn't have even the resources, but lo and behold, the money just came out of nowhere. She's not going to address that, but she'll be quick to rush and talk about the achievements.
Looking at right now, we're just at the brink of qualifying for the Olympics for the first time. And so I could say there is growth when you look at the game. That's on 3x3. When you look at the Morans have been performing very well. Just the last 5 years, looking at the growth and them being able to play in the Afrobasket for the first time in 20.
So she's just deflecting. She's trying to say that she's trying to change the conversation, and she's trying to deviate away from the actual subject, the state of Kenyan basketball, especially locally, with all the scandals that are happening. So she's deflecting and she's avoiding to answer that question.
And so what I would like to say is, first of all, I just want to talk about some of the achievements that we've had as a country in basketball. When you look at it from the 3x3, the international scene, first of all, I would just like to say, Kenya is going for the World Cup. Nothing that, something that people are not talking about right now, but something that is very critical. And I mean, we're really proud to be one of the few teams that have been able to make it to the World Cup. So our under-23 team is going to the World Cup.
Yes, they're going to the World Cup, but if you look at it, the Ministry of Sports came out with a statement saying that they don't even have the resources for this said World Cup. They said that the Team Kenya should look for money elsewhere, but things changed, especially in a few days, as they were able to secure a ticket to go to Lublin in Poland. So yes, we're going to talk about that. It was sad to see the Ministry of Sport just come in and just leave the Team Kenya just high and dry, but that is also something that she was trying to use to deflect from the issue that she was being presented by the reporter. No doubt, the 3x3 team, especially the women, have been balling. They have been sensational. They won the 3x3 that they won the previous 3x3 that they won in. I covered it extensively. The one that was in Algeria, that one was epic. The men really disappointed because that it was a different type of competition there. Also, they played in the women's 3x3 Team Kenya, the Team Nyati. They were in the Hammamet Games where they finished number 2. They made the finals, and they've just been sensational. Okay, I know this is about talking about the state of basketball, but not to mention, they have been sensational. That's one thing that is a fact.
8 years, which was a couple of years ago. We continue to build from there. We had a few hitches that saw us not being able to make it to the World Cup that has just ended a month ago. But we are hopeful and are looking forward to making sure that the Morans are able to make it to the next level. Looking at the Lionesses, and I'm breaking this down, to the different national teams that we have. The Lionesses have been performing very well perennially. Looking at all, I think this year is the first time that the Lionesses have not made it to the AfroBasket, which is the biggest championship in Africa. But from that, we took learnings. We're going forward with the learnings that we had during the qualifiers. And I must say that Zone 5 has become one of the most competitive zones in Africa right now.
And now what Angela is doing, she's trying to divert and change the subject so that you can talk about the accomplishments of KBF without even talking about the issues that are plaguing the league. So that's one thing that I saw. It was just a deflection tactic, and it was actually it was just interesting to see how they are still in denial of what is really going on, and they don't want to address it head on. And when you corner them the way the reporter cornered her, she is quick to like deflect it.
FIBA has been talking about it and saying, you know, Zone 5 has become very, very competitive. When you look at the countries in Zone 5, you see that Kenya, Egypt, Rwanda, Uganda, and South Sudan are countries that had really now on the top of Africa, and the competition is really getting stiffer. So
okay, she's just trying to inflate, like just try to, you know, prop up the resume, just trying to deflect from she's trying to deflect from what we're talking about, the conversation about the state of basketball here. I don't know why she took it to the Kenyan Morans. What she's trying to do here, she's trying to make you sympathize with and try to get people on her side, on KBF's side, so that you can soften the blow on what is to come. The reality is that's not even the main topic that was being talked about here in this conversation. It was about the state of basketball here in the country, not even our activities outside. So she just took it upon herself to try to market KBF as a good organization. In reality, they're just deplorable, and she's just deflecting. She doesn't want to answer those questions. Not sure why she's putting, like, you know, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tunisia, South Sudan, teams that are way above us, both men and women. I don't think we stack up right now against those teams in East Africa. Even in Zone 5, we're not just there. I mean, we are a team that other teams are happy when we match up against them, because they know that they can get an easy win from us. So trying to use the competition of Zone 5 to show that we are good, it doesn't make any sense. And she's just deflecting, and just continues. So she's trying to just continue, just stack up the accolades. Okay, let's just go get one thing straight, right? If you've been following this channel long enough, you'll notice that I've been covering the Kenyan Morans for close to 3 years now. I've been talking about this team for quite some time now, and no one has a firm opinion and an objective opinion that I have. So going even back to what she said about, like, the Kenyan Morans making the AfroBasket for the first time in 28 years. That's a very good feat. But if you look at the way that they did it, it was just a miracle. They beat Angola like that. But let's not forget that happened like about 2.5 years ago. And when they actually made the actual AfroBasket, they did virtually nothing. They lost all the big games, and they won against Mali, and they stayed winless for the next year and a half, as when Kenya went to the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, they laid an egg and they went 0-for-6. They hadn't even won a game in 2 years. The first game that they won was this year. From 2021 to 2023, 1.5 year span, they were yet to win a game. And she's just coming here, just bopping up the accolades. We know the truth. Can even pull up the records. I have covered the Kenyan Morans. No one has covered the Kenyan Morans than I have on this channel. So I know everything I'm saying. So yeah, Kenya's not even going to make the World Cup anyway. So we went 0-for-6. South Sudan, with the shortest time that they had, they made history, and right now they're headed to the Olympics, while Kenya is struggling to win games in the African levels, man. Even in the African, we can't even make it to the finals. Teams are just stacking up, and we can't even be able to match up against them. So using this as an accolade, really shows you how low, how rock bottom we are. We are just bottom of the barrel. If somebody, especially the Assistant Secretary General, is going to come out and tell us that this is an achievement, then we know we are really in the pits, rock bottom. Unfortunately, newsflash, as currently constructed, the Morans, if you keep the legacy players, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to stay the same place that they were a year ago and the year before. This is not a team that changes like that. So I don't know why there's that impression that they just keep getting better. If you look at even the stats that they've been putting up, especially the players that have played the longest there, and if you look at even like the team selection, there's no criteria there. They refuse to tell us the criteria that they used. So let them not lie. Let her and let the Kenya Basketball Federation not lie to you that we are doing. Then they try to paint a picture that we're doing so well with the Kenya Morans, when in reality, we're just bottom of the barrel, especially when it comes to like continental basketball.
So going back to the local scene, just looking at how the game has been, 3 areas that we still need to work on. Obviously, there's player development, but looking at how the league has been structured also, we really have, the league is growing. The league is growing. We started off with about 40 teams maybe 2 years ago. We are now at 65 teams that are playing in the league, 24 teams playing in the Premier League, 24 playing in Division 1, and we have a Division 2 league, which we didn't have a couple of years ago. But
Madam Angela,
oh boy, I mean, she just continues trying to stack up the accolades just to save face for KBF. I'm pretty sure they had like a board meeting to discuss what she was going to talk about. But talking about the Lioness, I'm all about equality, so I covered all the national teams, both men and women. So looking at even like Zone 5, what they did, it was actually commendable. They started off 3-0, but the game that they missed and they couldn't play well was against Egypt, and they struggled against Egypt and got exposed brutally. And after losing that game, they went from number 1 to all the way to the number 3rd spot, and just couldn't even notch a ticket to the women's Afrobasket that just happened about 2 months ago. So the women's team is just the same disease that has plagued the men's team, just the over-reliance of other players, having like biased team selection. We don't even know like the criteria that they used, trying to paint a picture that we are winning, but we are not actually winning. If you look at even if we made the Afrobasket, even if the women made the Afrobasket, it will just be the same thing as 2021. 2021 they made the Afrobasket, out of 3 games only won 1 game, and they got knocked out easily, quickly. So there's no much progression there, because majority of the time, given the mentality and the coaching staff we have, we don't have any coaching staff or good players that can take us to that next level. So yeah, okay, she's just trying to inflate, like just try to prop up the resume, just trying to deflect from she's trying to deflect from what we're talking about, the conversation about the state of basketball here. I don't know why she took it to the Kenya Morans. What she's trying to do here, she's trying to make you sympathize with and try to get people on her side, on KBF's side, so that you can soften the blow on what is to come. The reality is that's not even the main topic that was being talked about here in this conversation. It was about the state of basketball here in the country, not even our activities outside. So she just took it upon herself to try to market KBF as a good organization. In reality, they're just deplorable, and she's just deflecting. She doesn't want to answer those questions.
Let me come in there. Listening to you, you paint a very lofty picture, a league that is well run, everything is in place. But from where we sit here, the most basic of things even in our league is a problem. Simple things like even fixture, that's a challenge. Where is the problem?
Well, she even got stopped by the reporter, because right now she's just going on about like the achievements of KBF. I'm pretty sure KBF have a couple of achievements, but the way they have been poor outweighs the achievements that they had. Okay, I'm not saying that they have been doing things they have not done things that are good, but all I'm saying is the bad things that they have done outweighs the good that she's trying to paint the picture of. So yeah, even the reporter had to stop her because she is just going on and on for like 4 minutes, just talking about, like, just rambling around and not saying anything that is with reference to the argument. I'm so happy this reporter just had to check her, because he just went straight on for the kill. Like, she is trying to paint a picture of like everything is just going on so well, like we're succeeding, we're in the level of like we can compete anywhere, no team can beat us. But in reality, on the ground, things are not what she's trying to paint it, and she's trying to like condition people who are watching to side with her and remove all the facts, remove all the information that is being passed around about the league not operating that the way it should be.
Yes, just talking about fixture, I fully agree. We've had a few challenges with the fixtures, and this has mainly been coming from the structure in which our teams are set up.
Yeah, even on this channel, talk about the fixtures. They don't even know how to like set good fixtures to make sure that we know which game is coming next. So that's one big issue that has been plaguing the league a couple of years ago, even a couple of eons ago. Not even years, a couple of eons ago, I made a video talking about the Kenya basketball problem. I put it on the channel. I addressed this issue as well, and let's just hear what she has to say.
When you look at some of the teams, we have a number of teams that are universities. We have a number of teams that are also institutional and banks. So what happens is you tend to find that given that their schedules are different and there's different things happening at the institutions, whether it's the bank when it's interbanks, whether it's the universities when they're closing school, when they've closed school, you find games keep on being postponed, which is something that should not be the case.
You see, the funny thing is about the fixtures, KBF had the mandate and authority to set the fixtures the way that they need to do it. They need to set up the standards in which the other teams should follow. She's trying to remove herself from like accountability and try to blame it on the teams and the structure of like the federation, whereas she is the Assistant Secretary General that's supposed to oversee and make sure these things are honored. So it's just in denial. This is just a game of denial.
But Angela, this has taken time. It's not something that began yesterday. For the last 3-4 seasons, this has been the picture. But as a federation, I would say you failed to address this area. Then two, we're just coming from a court injunction, which probably is due to the fights within the KBF. Maybe you can respond to this probably.
Man, I mean, good props to this reporter. He's just nailing it spot on. The fixtures problem is not a problem that has plagued us in recent times. This is a problem that has been there for years, even with her regime. Remember, guys, this is an Assistant Secretary General that got into office in January of 2021. Right now, we're in September 25th, as recording this video, 2023. That means she has had 2 years in office to be able to figure out a way to make sure fixtures is not a problem. So, is this the person that we need to help us fix the things in KBF? Well, on her watch, things have just gone haywire. And she's coming here and trying to throw the blame to other people and saying that it's the team's fault, it's the institution's fault, and not looking at it's your fault as a federation. It's your fault by the fact that you're given that position and you failed to dispense your mandate. Then you're coming here telling us that it's the institutions and they have the games have to be postponed. The thing is, we are seeing a situation where rogue TMs have plagued the league, and you can't tame them because you're also enjoying in the fun, and you're also enjoying in the corruption as the rogue team officials. So don't try to like change and say that it's you, that it is the team's fault, it's the structure of the league's fault, and you have the ability to even go and try to have the structure of the league amended. So it's funny.
First, for the fixture, I'm giving you. I want to go back to the fixture because I want to say that yes, it's been a problem. We're working on it. It's work in progress. But one of the things that we'll have to do is to really also hold the teams accountable and make sure that with the teams and the team managers work together with the teams and the team managers to ensure that the fixtures do not keep changing as they keep changing all of the time. Going back to the court injunction.
Finally, after all like that, like the way she was just rambling around, she got the question that all of us we have been waiting for, talking about the court injunction. Let's see how she reacts to this.
Interesting topic because that's been one of the hottest things that's been happening, that has happened in the month of September actually. Yes, the court injunction was basically to stop basketball activities at the Basketball League. But that was lifted immediately, almost a week after it was brought up. The issues that came up was the way in which our annual general meeting was held, and also the fact that a number of the teams have not yet fully complied with the Sports Act as required. Now, looking at that, first of all, is to just say that the AGM was held as per the Constitution. The initial notice for the AGM was sent out, and as per the Constitution, on the 30th of April, there was no quorum, so the Federation went according to the Constitution to make sure that then there was a notice that was sent out for the next AGM after that, and that AGM came 14 days later, which was on the 14th of May. And after that AGM, some of the fans and former players went to court. A former player and fan went to court to say that we held the AGM in disregard to the Constitution. However, I'll just like to make it clear that, yes, our Constitution says that the AGM needs to be held by the 30th of April of every year.
Okay.
That was the first AGM that was held, and later on, because of lack of quorum, and which is laid out clearly in the Constitution.
She doesn't want to talk about the injunction because it's going to make her look bad, and that's why she tried to deflect it and talk about she didn't talk about the injunction. She wanted to talk about the fixtures first. She didn't want, and the question, and she answered the question on the fixtures already. Why is it that she wants to address the fixtures more and give it more airtime and not even give airtime to the injunction? Because she knows she's part of that cabal that is wrong, and she knows that it's gonna put her at fault. And of course, they're trying to protect whatever little virtue or credibility that they have set in them. But people in this channel, of course, I'm going to give you all the facts and details of what is going on. So let them not try to lie to you and condition you to think that it's not them that are at fault. It's them who are controlling everything and they're the head of everything. So don't let them try to lie to you. The reason as to why the fixtures keep changing is because you allow it to change. In KBF, there are levels. There are teams that are money teams and the teams that don't have money. So if a team that has the money to be able to buy their way to get fixtures there, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I have proof that the money is exchanged, but if you look at the way these teams are moving, those big teams they are moving, I'm pretty sure they have much more say and leverage to how they want their fixtures to look like. A quick example is KPA. KPA, when they come to play in Nairobi, they play on both Saturdays and Sundays, both the men and women's team. And they play like in institutions. If they're playing Strathmore on Saturday, both men and women. If you're going to play Anu on Saturday and Sunday, men and women. Like that. They get their way like that. Not many teams get the leverage to play like that. That means somewhere somebody had to give something in exchange for that to happen, and they are the ones who might even dictate the fixtures. So what she is trying to say here is she is part in the reason as to why the fixtures is broken, and she's not willing to change it, and she's just going to give just a politically correct answer, a diplomatic answer, just to get that question out of the way. But we know what the truth is. That's actually the truth. she is part, and the KBF, the secretary, all the management are colluding with those rogue TMs to make sure that the basketball doesn't change. It just remains the same. They don't want anything to change because they thrive in that chaos. And there are cartels and mafias in there that even dictate who is going to be on the national teams. So there's no talent development. It's just who you know and who is inside that cabal and who are you going to benefit. So that's what's going on. So what she did there was try to show that the court injunction and paint that picture that it's the people who are putting the injunction there that are stopping basketball to happen. This is one thing that I've seen, right? When you want to paint a picture that this injunction has been put there to stop basketball and you try to remove some context around it, people have a tendency not to understand what really happened. So this is what happened, right? There was the AGM that was supposed to happen. It was done unprocedurally, and considering the fact that there were other corruption allegations that were there in the mix, and also looking at the way that they have been carrying themselves with contempt, and the league being run by people who don't even care about like following the rules, the injunction notice was put there so it can put pressure on these people to follow the instructions based on the Sports Dispute Tribunal. The injunction was put there to make sure that teams follow the regulations, get registered, and also KBF come out and explain as to why they did the AGM unprocedurally. She removes all that context, tries to paint a picture that people are stopping basketball from happening, which is not the case. Oh boy, you see that just the cap just continued, like so many inaccurate statements, lies, removal of context just continued. But there was this gentleman who asked very nice questions.
Probably you can chime in here.
Yes, indeed. And I had a couple of questions. Number one, you mentioned that our competitors in Zone 5 are doing so well, and including South Sudan, a team that is growing just from the other day, and they are now competing even, maybe we can say even better than us. It's something to worry about. But talking about the in-house matters, do we have a running secretariat for the federation? Because some of the matters he's raising with you, the question of communication, even of fixtures, do we have, apart from the elected officials, secretariat that you can see that every day they are doing their job to make sure, for example, communication is there, so that at least we have a smooth run of activities where even people know? Because, for example, you give an example of a team going to the World Cup. Why are we not aware? Why are people not aware? It's because of questions of communication. Therefore, you ask who is supposed to do what within the federation.
The big problem is we elected people who don't know jack about basketball. They don't know anything about marketing the sport, and they don't even know how to create policies. They can't even create a secretariat. This guy just hit it in the head. The thing is, why is it that KBF cannot even create policies to enable said people to come and join, like having people come in and assist in marketing, in placing KBF in a place where they're operating, they're doing everything high level operations, having the way he said, like a secretariat there. I actually like the way he attacked that, and it was actually a very interesting approach because it was mostly corporate, and that's how corporates work. KBF don't look at themselves as a corporate, and they don't look at themselves as people who can intermingle with corporates like that. And that is the reason as to why you're finding a lot of random and haphazard things happening in KBF, because the leadership is very incompetent. The leadership don't know what they're doing. They don't even know their mandate. They don't even know what they're supposed to do. They don't even know what a secretariat is. And that is why she's being called out like that. Let's just hear what she has to say about that.
When talking about communication, I think there's been a bit of a slur the last year. But to be honest, I think in the last couple of months or so, it has really, it's improved significantly. Yes, we do have a secretariat. We could do better. There's a lot of areas that we're looking at in terms of making changes, in terms.
Communication is one thing that KBF have failed to master. They have failed to understand anything about it, and they continue to fail. Even after this interview, the fixtures for this weekend, you don't even know who's gonna play the next week, this weekend, or even the next weekend, and they depend on people like myself and other platforms that post to be able to inform the masses about the fixtures, and they don't even have their own media team to issue statements like that. So they come in and try to act as if they know what they are doing, and yet in reality they don't know anything about it. They don't even know how to create memos that are professional. My God, this is still the same federation that uses Yahoo emails instead of, and they're too broke to even buy G Suite domain and hosting to have a professional email address. They don't even have that, and they still use Yahoo. So if these people still use Yahoo, what makes you think that their communication is going to improve in any way?
Of getting better in terms of just making sure that we can get our, we can get to the next level. And like you're saying, I think because of some of the changes that also happened in office after the last elections have caused a bit of breakdown in communication, but we're beginning to rebuild our databases and beginning to go back to the work that was happening previously.
Because of time.
Where is the secretariat? Why don't they work? What's their job then? If it's there, and the gentleman just explained it and just broke it down to its last atom and explained as to what is supposed to happen, and he's not even part of basketball. This goes to show you, some people are just incompetent in their job. They don't even know what they're supposed to do. You could do better, but you can't do it because you don't have any know-how. You don't have the knowledge. You just won elections. Mind you, you have been in office for 2 years. Then take you 2 years to figure out what you're supposed to do. Not a lot of areas. Change the whole thing. You don't know anything you need to do. You're struggling. Getting better and getting to the next level is you handing in your resignation together with the secretary, the president, all of these people, the treasurer, the fixtures, hand in their resignations immediately and let people who actually know and know how to run a federation run a federation. So she just keeps on making excuses for failure. She has been in office for 2 years. 2 whole years. Actually, it's 2.5 years because she assumed office in January of 2021. So you can't blame the last elections. The last elections happened 2 years ago, and you're almost halfway through your term. So this argument is just an excuse. You're just making an excuse as to why you're incompetent. That's what it is. Begin to make your oh my god, man. These people are just way off. They just don't know anything about what they're supposed to do. Nothing. I mean, it's actually sad that this is the mentality that KBF have. We'll never go anywhere with this mentality. Never.
Angela, probably can Zita, you have something burning?
I have something to burning. I just want to, Isia has talked about the basketball in South Sudan, that they're the first actually in Africa now. And as they're looking at the FIFA ranking, maybe in February, I think we are in 97, if I'm not wrong. I think we've dropped 97 in FIFA ranking. So I just want to know how you're going to make the team grow, because we have the youth, the plans you have for the youth, because because we only have one private facilitation that is now growing the basketball team in the youth, the way Twende talked about it. And then something else, and I want to know the sponsorship. Can you have something that the players are fighting for? Because in the basketball, we don't have any sponsorship in the basketball. And my last one is the changing of fixtures. Like team can wake up today, mnaambiwa mlikuwa mnacheza home, the next day mnaambiwa mnafaa kwenda Naivasha. And mind you, maybe those teams wenyewe ndio wanajilipia hiyo transport, and they have to pay fee so that they can join the league at the end of it. So why I know I've asked a lot of questions. I just want you to break it down for everyone. Like, how are the players going to do what to benefit from the basketball?
Okay, Angela, maybe.
Oh boy, here you go again. So looking at player development in KBF, there is none. If you're going to factor in, if you're going to, put in like the FIBA youth camps, you're thoroughly mistaken, because KBF doesn't do that. That's number one. Number two, there ain't no incentives for players to play in KBF. Majority of the time, KBF have not created like structures to allow sponsors to come in so that players can make revenue or even earn from that sport. Majority of the players play for free. The other players only get allowances from their organizations, KPA, Equity, Twende right now, Ulinzi. They just get allowances from their organizations and not through KBF. So they have incentives. Other teams don't have incentives. And on to like even the fixtures, the money teams control the fixtures. The rogue TMs control the fixtures. They are the ones who collude with the KBF officials, and they are the ones who continue to drag this sport to where it is right now. Considering the fact that you're trying to see the KBF and the assistant section trying to exonerate themselves from what is going on in basketball. In reality, they are the governing body of basketball in the country, and they refuse, and they continue to refuse to address what is going on. So that's a quick answer, because I'm pretty sure even if you let her answer, she's just going to continue lying. So this is a pretty quick answer for me.
Maybe in 1 minute you can compress it.
First of all, in terms of building, I'll just say something real quick. We've started an under-16 league, and the reason we started an under-16 league is really to be able to build up the capacity and the skill level of our players, so that we're building into the future. That's the first thing. The second thing that that Zita has asked about the fixtures, like I said before, it's about us working together collaboratively with all the teams. The reason the fixtures keep changing is really because of the request of the teams that come through. And sometimes for us, it's been a catch-22. And right now we are saying, you know what, we've got to start cracking the whip on teams and giving more covers, because that's the only way that we're going to stop the habit of changing, perennial habit of, I need my game changed because my player is not available because this is happening. And
Angela, because of time.
The reason the fixtures keep changing is because you allow those requests to come with somewhat of, a handshake from them, and it allows you to continue mangling it. You cannot blame it on the team managers or even the teams coming to you. You have the authority and ability to say, no, we're not changing the fixtures. But because, of course, there's some exchange of something, you'll allow it to happen. You'll allow that type of, impunity to happen because there's an exchange of something. As much as saying crack the whip, we all know for a fact you can't do that, because you enjoy some benefits from these big teams. You enjoy some, exchange of something or some value from them. So there's no way you're going to crack a whip and put a walkover on a KPA game. You cannot put a walkover on a Thunder game. You cannot put a walkover on an Ulinzi game or an Equity game. You can't do that because you get kickbacks from them. So as much as you're coming here and tell us that you want to crack the whip, we all know that's not going to happen. You're not going to happen. You're just saying that just to please the audience. And I, for a fact, will continue to dispense the truth.
Can you give us a commitment? Can you give the public a commitment live on this TV? How soon are you going to roll out this?
Man, I just like this reporter. give the commitment so that people can hold it to account. So let's just watch this. Let's just hear what she's going to say, and just look at if it's going to stand the test of time.
In terms of the fixture changes?
Yes, that mess. How long is it going to take you to address?
I can say that in the next 1 month, the fixture issue is going to go away.
Wait, what? 1 month? Be serious? That's a lie. You can even see her facial expression there. It was a lie. The biggest lie. Stop lying. This is a problem that has plagued you for the past 2 years. What makes you think a month you can deal with the fixtures? So immediately you could have just seen that she's trying to deflect. She's just trying to compartmentalize everything. She's just trying to say, how can you deal with the fixtures? How can you deal with the sponsorship? She doesn't want to answer it head on. She's trying to be she's trying to like, deflect the argument and try to have like a, easy answer in there. But the reporters and the journalist, he knew what he needed to. He knew what answer he needed to get.
Okay, 1 month. That's quite long. Shitera, maybe do you have a question for her?
Probably all the questions have been asked by colleagues here. But again, just like football, basketball is facing the same problems. I used to enjoy basketball in the early 2000s when I was a high school student. I envy or natamani zile siku za basketball KPA ikicheza against KCB, Cooperative Bank, wakati wakina Clifford Ward, the current coach who was playing for Cooperative Bank then. We used to fill Nyayo National Stadium Gymnasium. The days are long gone. So probably, as Zita put it, Madam Angela, probably, what strategies are you putting on the table to ensure that these games are back to, they are attractive the way you imagine a basketball game at 9 p.m. but the gymnasium is full? The strategies you are putting on the table, marketing strategies, the league used to have sponsors, they are no longer there. Probably the structures and strategies you are putting in place to ensure that the confidence is back.
I think,
first of all, that was actually a very good, angle and take, because in the early 2000s, Kenyan basketball was great. Like we had the KCB Lions, Corp was there, KPO were at full strength. We had all those athletes in there, and it was entertaining. Looking at the archives, the games were fun, even given like the infrastructure that was there. Even like and one came in the years 2011, 2012. So it was awesome having those moments that we had. But if you look at currently present day how basketball looks like, I even remember I had a conversation with Fallen One just talking about like the fan base. We have fan players, player fans, players who when they play their first game that is played in the gym, it's just empty. There are no people who are watching it. So as the day progresses, the players who played earlier, they go change up and they just sit in the stands. They just sit and they just fill up the arena. So you can even see like over time when games are played, a lot of games are played, you're seeing the players become the actual fans. You're not seeing like casual fans who are coming in to watch the games. As much as you might think that even having like a game in the evening, you might think that the players are the majority of them are like fans who are watching like the athletes who are playing. If you do a head count and you just look over it, you'll just see majority, like 85% of them are actual players who play in the league, and they're not fans like that. So as much as even we can claim to like fill the gym right now, if you do a head count, these are players who already played the games before the main game, before the main event. So they're not the game right now doesn't attract casuals, because KBF are repelling anyone who wants to touch them. Even if you look at the scandals that have been there, no big brand or corporate wants to associate with a federation that is corrupt. A corrupt federation does not attract sponsorship. A corrupt federation does not attract investment. A corrupt federation that has scandals does not attract people to invest in it. And that is the reason as to why people are moving and creating their own independent things. I know she's gonna come in trying to say that Nyayo gym is full, but filling the gym and the gate revenue is not even helping you in any way. What use is that? Let me just leave it and just hear her reaction to that.
First of all, I don't know the last time you were in Nyayo Stadium to watch a game. You should have been there even yesterday. The gym was pretty full until 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, the gym is full, but it's full of player fans. So you see, she tried to pin it on him that he doesn't know what he's saying. And in reality, this man knows exactly what he's saying. He asked a question directly to you, and the question was supposed to be interpreted as, what are you doing to make the game attractive to people? she doesn't know how to answer that question. That's the reason as to why she had to deflect in that angle and ask him, why have you been to a game recently? It doesn't matter. I've been into many games in Nyayo. I've covered the 2022 playoffs, yeah, and a certain portion of like the season in the 2022-23 season. Before last year, I covered it, and also remotely, I've been following the games all through. So majority of the time, there's nothing that is entertaining. Even if you say that you're feeling the gym, like, what value is the casual fan getting? Because majority of the time it's boring. Even if you try to say that you're putting the music there, you're trying to tell us that you're putting refreshments there. I know it's the ladies, the women who carry the snacks there to dispense them. It's just it has not changed anyway. So my God, she's just gonna go on and on.
We have brought back games, Friday night games, Saturday and Sunday games, going up till late. And the reason we've done that is because we also realized, like everybody says, sports is not about just the game. It's also about the entertainment that's behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the things that we're trying to bring back.
Entertainment that you don't know how to, you don't know how to utilize it. You don't know what you're saying. What you have to take what she says and KBF say and take what they do, and you come in and try to create a rational conclusion. Number one, they don't care about putting people to watch. They don't care about marketing themselves. They think that they can get away with these statements just to lie to people, because this is an actual lie. You cannot sit there with a straight face on national television and lie that it's all about entertainment, yet you don't even have a structure to market it. So you can just see in a span of 5-6 minutes, she just exposed herself and exposed the mentality that KBF have. If they're all about entertainment, they will have been all about marketing it. They don't market anything. Their Twitter page has been inactive for 4 years. The Instagram is not working at all. Nothing is working for them, honestly. So her coming here and telling us they're focusing on the entertainment bit and you don't even know how to package it, you're lying.
If you look at our playoffs that ended for the last season, that ended just around June, we had filled up the gym completely, totally. And reason being, we brought back the night games, we brought back the music, we brought back the refreshments. Those refreshments, those also, refreshments, food, and all of that.
Just to get some context, Nyayo gym is very, very small. Actually, it's like a bed-sitter gym if you compare it with the BK Arena. I don't even want to compare it because, man, it's an insult at this point. So you claiming to feel like a gym that has a capacity of what? Less than 1,000 or even 1,500? That's a big achievement? The people who are filling stadiums that are bigger and they are 10,000-15,000 capacity, now that is selling out. Not selling out a gym that has a capacity of what? Less than 1,500, even 1,200? The time when Kenya played against South Sudan in the AfroBasket pre-qualifiers, South Sudanese filled the gym more than actual Kenyans. I mean, and considering the fact that we're playing in our hometown, on our home turf, and you're trying to pull out the card that we fill the gym, where's the money then? How can you fill up the gym and you don't have money? You don't even have money to pay for your own domains, and you're claiming that you have made... You're filling in gyms, and the gyms are being filled with player fans, players who have already played their games. They're the ones who are filling it, not the casuals. So don't use that for optics and try to lie to people.
When you start doing that, the fans keep coming back. We're encouraging teams also to create their fan bases, because a fan base is not necessarily created by the federation. It's created by the teams and the players. When the teams and the players start creating fan bases and start communicating about their games, that way they bring their fans to the gym, and we can then take the opportunity to be able to build on that. So those are some of the things we're looking at. Over and above that is now to get back into doing a lot of PR about the games, communicating more. Like I said, yes, I know there's been a bit of a slur, but now we're looking at how we can be able to build it back and get it to be top-notch.
Yes. You know what she's trying to do? She's just try to like save face, because she knows that there's nothing good that will come out of KBF, because given the scandals, a lot of bad press has gone around. So what she's trying to do right now is just to try to like save, face of the federation, try to show, just to create like a soft landing to prevent the eventual downfall, because right now their stock has plummeted. It has gone down. Oh my god, it's just embarrassing right now. It's embarrassing and it's not even a nice way, because it stopped being funny anymore, because this was just straight embarrassing.
Angela Lichira from the Basketball Federation of Kenya will be putting you to account with all the promises you've made to the citizenry, to the viewer this morning, and we hope the basic of things will improve. So thank you very much for making time for Sporty Monday, Angela. And now over.
Okay, so all she just said was, they're just going to continue doing the same thing the same way. They're just going to be operating the same way, and little or no change is going to happen. And I'm not even holding my breath to, her holding up her end of the bargain and the commitment. All I just know is, given like the leadership and given like the mentality that these people have, everything's just going to remain the same way and nothing's going to change. So yeah, I mean, just disband KBF. They're very incompetent. This is the type of leadership that unfortunately is there. It's very unfortunate that these are the people who are making the top decisions on who is going to be in the national team, who's going to be in the 3x3, and who is going to represent Kenya like that. So it's very unfortunate, because these are people who don't even know anything about basketball. They don't even know anything about marketing. They keep saying that they're going to work on their PR. They're too broke to even buy domaining and web hosting. They're too broke to even hire like social media influencers to make sure to market their games. They're too broke to get graphic designers, to get videographers, to get all these people to create a product that can be marketed to the wider audience. And they don't even know how to do simple communication with their fixtures. And these are the same people who are trying to come to you and tell you and convince you that basketball is working. The reporter was very spot on, and hopefully we are able to like shed light on these types of corruption that they have, and be able to like hold them to account and hold them to their word, because nobody is holding them to their word. Yours truly, I have been trying to hold them accountable to their word in every single thing that they are doing, and right now the public is seeing everything in 4K, and there's no escape route for these people, because we are going to always be on their back and always on their case. I must say, this was actually fun. This is a very uncomfortable interview for Angela, because she knows she has been capping all through. She has just concocted so many things, tried to give you like a false reality of what is really going on. But with my commentary in this video, I'm pretty sure you've been able to get some context of what has been going on and what has been happening. So yeah, I mean, if you guys like the video, please leave your feedback down in the comments on what you think. Also, please leave your feedback down in the comments, because it helped me out a ton. And also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. I'll be coming up with more videos like that, and please make sure to do that, because it's gonna help me a ton. And I'm out. Peace.